the whole truth. The place where you listen to get a fair view. To get the whole truth. The place where you listen to get a fair view. This is Straight Talk. You see it's Straight Talk.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome. Welcome to Greg Talks. Welcome to Greg Talks. Yes, the place that you get the whole truth, the place you listen to get a fair view. Hallelujah. Hey, good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. We welcome you to Greg Talks. So excited to have you join us this evening. So excited to have you join us. Yes, we are. This month has been dedicated to Down syndrome awareness and breast cancer awareness, and we are excited to have all of you join us this evening for our final edition of on Down syndrome. Yes, this is our final edition. Hello, Melanie Jenkins, Elaine Wilhite, Pastor Rose A. Mullen. Yes, we're glad to have you join us. I'm going to ask you guys to go ahead and start your watch party. Yes, go ahead and share. Go ahead and share the video. Go ahead and invite your friends to tune in tonight. This is going to be a great show tonight. We got a special guest with us tonight. Good evening, Sheila Stewart. God bless you. God bless you. Yes. So go ahead and tag and share. Go ahead and start your watch party. Yes, we got a special guest waiting in the virtual green room to come and share her story with us tonight. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So we're looking forward to that in just a moment. Now, yes, Down syndrome awareness. Before we move further, I'm going to give you this song real quick by the Miracle Sisters. Some of you may know something about this song already. This song is titled, it's called The Miracle Song. Yes, it's a testimony about our miracle. Yes, here it is. Here it is.
How many of you believe in
miracles? How many of y'all believe in miracles?
Well, I do.
Yes.
Because one came in my life. Yeah. Miracles. Miracles keep happening. Miracles keep happening. Miracles keep happening to me. Miracles keep happening. Miracles keep happening. Miracles keep happening. Miracles keep happening to me. Diagnosis given, I just couldn't take it. They stayed up, he was praying all night, praying for a miracle in his life. Baby, you got mama's mood. Doctor said she got no food. Before he gave us all the room, we still knew that I got rooms. Morning came and you were still there. I gotta work the miracles, so that's the shit clear. Miracles keep happening. Miracles keep happening. Miracles keep happening to me.
Yes, miracles keep happening. Every time we look around, there's a miracle happening.
Miracles keep happening to me. You were born and breathe. I just can't shoot away. Came back momentarily. He had nothing left to say. He said you had Down syndrome. 16 days we couldn't take you home. My mom shot, she couldn't move. He could pray and do. Just remember, call my mama said, Mama got a spirit leg. Got up giving testimony for everyone to hear and see how the story came to be. And this became our ministry. Miracles keep happening. Miracles keep happening. Miracles keep happening. This goes out to all of the miracle children all over the world, and to all of you families who thought that you had something wrong. Just know that God has sent you a miracle. Miracles
keep happening
to me. Miracles keep happening, show me. Miracles keep happening, miracles keep happening, miracles keep happening, miracles keep happening, miracles keep happening.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you, thank you. That's the Miracle Song by the Miracle Sisters. Yes, you can find that song. You can actually catch that video on YouTube, or you can find that song on any of your online stores. Yes, Miracles. The title of the song is the Miracle Song by the Miracle Sister. Well, we welcome you again to Greg Talks. So excited to have you. Actually, again, if you would go ahead and start your watch parties. Go ahead and start your watch parties. Invite your friends, invite your neighbors, invite everybody to come and take a listen this evening to Greg Talk. We have a special guest with us tonight, all the way from Washington, D.C., who somehow, some way, by the grace of God, got a glimpse of the show, got the glimpse of the segment that Fox 6 did on Miracle Academy and on Miracle a few weeks ago, and contacted us from that. And I discovered that she has a story that needs to be told. So I want you to welcome to our show tonight, all the way from Washington, D.C., Miss Shanae Smallwood. Hey, how you doing, Miss Smallwood?
Hello, how you doing?
Yes, yes, you and the beautiful Amaya. Yes, how you? I'm so glad to make your acquaintance and get to know you guys. Get to meet you. To so aware of the fact of what God is doing and how God is blessing us with these miracle children. And a blessing. They are a blessing to our lives, and we're just grateful for that. You know. So, how old is Amaya now?
She's 10.
She's 10. Amaya is 10 years old. Yeah. Is she like Miracle 10 going on 25?
Oh man, she's yes, 50
Yeah.
maybe.
So yes, I titled the show today, and I really can see that, even though I never met her in the person, but I just looking at her on the pictures and whatnot, I could see the attitude, the personality, and all of that there. And so that's the reason tonight I titled the show "Down or Up."
Yes.
Yes. You know, the Down syndrome world has changed so drastically over the years. You know, back in times when there was not much technology, not much in the medical field, they didn't know a whole lot how to deal with children with Down syndrome or whatnot. But now that we have so much opportunity and with all the opportunities that we have, I think it's important that we embrace what God has blessed us with and understand the fact that it is definitely a blessing. So Amaya is 10. Wow. Okay. Yes.
And I really am 11 years old.
And Miracle said, and I'm really 11 years old. She is 11 years old, going on 111. But, wow. So you have any other children?
Yes, I have 5 other children besides her.
5 other children. And she's the baby?
She is the second to the baby. I have a 3-year-old under her.
Okay. Wow. Oh, so she have somebody that she can boss around.
Yes, all of them. Every last one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I understand because you know, these blessings definitely become bossy. You know, they become real bossy. We can't tell them anything. They know everything. They know how to do everything. You know, so we just have to go with the flow.
You're correct. You're definitely correct.
So before Amaya, you had already had a lot of children, but they all were born quite healthy, you know, so to speak. And so Down syndrome caught you off guard.
Definitely, it was so totally off guard. Actually, my pregnancy with her was totally off guard. I didn't even know I was pregnant almost up until she was due, maybe 3 months before she was due. And when she came, after she was born, it took maybe a day before I got the phone call saying, "Hey, I need you to come to the hospital." At the time, me and her father, we didn't know what was going on. You know, we were just like, "Okay, let's hurry up and get to the hospital." So when we got there, that's when they laid a heavy load on us. One, she was born with Down syndrome. She had a hole in her heart. She had ASD, VSD, Wolf Parkinson's White,
Yeah.
jaundice. It was so much stuff at one time that day that it was like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do.
Wow. So that's the time when you get that kind of news, you feel like all the joy that you experienced in childbirth, now all of a sudden it's like somebody just snatched the rug from under your feet.
Yes, because she was supposed to be my last one. I was like 32, 33. So I was like, oh no more kids. I was done. I was gonna have my fun and everything. So when she came, it was like, oh my goodness. But then when the diagnosis was dealt to us, it was like, oh, like I just had sat there and held her in the little private room that they put us in and just held her and looked at her. And that's when I knew God was really testing my faith. Because prior to that, I had been homeless 2 or 3 times with my children.
Wow.
I had just got back on my feet. And it was like, and to get dealt with this blow. Wow. And mind you, I just had a child a year prior to her. So her and her brother are less than a year apart. So it was like, oh my goodness. And then when they told us this, all I could do was just sit there and look at her. But then I heard the voice, just heard a little voice, and it was like, hey, God doesn't give you more than you can handle. You've been tried, you've been tested, you've been homeless, you've been at the bottom. You keep bringing yourself up. So this right here is God's way of showing you through everything you've been through domestic violence, through homelessness. This is your trophy. This will show you what unconditional love really is. And she was born May 25th, 2010. From that day forward, I've learned what unconditional love is.
Wow. Oh my God. You definitely learned that without a doubt. Yeah. Because it's there. It's there. I certainly believe that God allowed these children to come into our lives at a time where He knew we really needed. They didn't need us. We needed it.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm listening to what you're saying here of all the things that you had gone through, all the things that you had been through, because not only is October Down Syndrome Awareness Month, but it also Domestic Violence Awareness Month as well. And I know a lot of these things get pushed to the back burner, but I believe without a shadow of doubt that it's time for us to those of us who deal with these things, it's time for us to make some effort to bring these things to as close to the forefront as anything else is, and that's one of the reasons I dedicated the show this month to these things as far as breast cancer awareness and Down syndrome awareness. But and now that we're here, we can talk about domestic violence awareness as well, because it's something that's definitely prevalent in society today, and even more so in the pandemic. Domestic violence has escalated because of the fact that people have been shut in together and they just don't know how to handle it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we get we get the news that this child has all these ailments going on, and now my life seemed to be turned upside down. Where do I go from here? And I like the fact that you said, I heard a voice said, hey, God is showing you you've been through a lot of stuff already, so there's nothing else that you cannot handle. Now, I want to put this out there as well, because many people are not aware of the fact that Down syndrome is normally somewhat expected when women have reached a certain age, but 32 is not that age.
No.
And statistics show that more younger women have children with Down syndrome than older women do, and that's attributed to the fact that there's more younger women having babies. But the fact still remains, it doesn't matter how old or how young we are. When we get this news, it shakes us up.
Yes, it does. It does. It really shakes you up, because with kids with Down syndrome usually comes open heart surgery, some type of surgery dealing with their heart.
Mhm.
She's had open heart surgery. She has a pacemaker. So almost every 5 to 6 years, she's got to have surgery to go back, update the battery. So it's always something. And you have to be strong, because if you're not, there's days where you're gonna go and you're gonna cry. You're gonna go in a corner and you're gonna cry.
Mhm.
But you gotta, once you look at them, because they don't understand what pain is. They
Right.
don't understand what meanness is. Like, they don't understand what hatred is. So they really teach you what unconditional love is. Because when you're having a bad day, it's like they sense it. And
Oh,
they'll come
my
and
goodness.
just rub on you. Like, she has a condition where anyone, she'll go and rub their hand. And it's like she knows they're having a bad day, and she'll just rub their hand, and they'll be like, "Oh my goodness!" And then it's like everybody just perks up.
Yeah,
So
I believe that God has put something in them that many of us need to learn how to tap into, and that's the sensitivity of the Spirit of God, and feeling other people's pain and what they're going through. Because even with Miracle, there are certain places in certain situations that we couldn't put her in because of that, because it would take so much out of her, because
right.
she's trying to mend them, so to speak, and it just drains so much out of her, so so we definitely have to keep an eye on that.
Yes, definitely.
So so Amaya's born now, 2010, May 25th, 2010. Now you and her father get this news. You got to break this news to the other kids. How was that?
It wasn't, we actually didn't really break it to them because they were a little younger. My older daughters, which are now 25 and 23, at the time they were more understanding, and they were like, okay, so she's our sister. At the end of the day, she's our sister. We don't care how she is.
Yeah.
Now she runs everybody. She's everybody's mother.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, because so they grow up and they take over. They should I say, stand their ground, and everybody else is ground too. Okay.
Yes.
So how was it, comparing to training her as a small child compared to training the other kids as a small child?
It was more, I want to say, tedious, because as far as like school wise, well, let's start from childhood. The therapy sessions that you have to go through, because they don't crawl like normal children. Sometimes their hips might not allow them to crawl, so you have to get special pants. And if you don't know these things, you might damage them. You can't
Right.
carry them on your hip like a normal child you would carry them, because you displace their hips later on in life. So it was so many things. And then reading was the best thing to do, because there's not a lot of stuff out here for kids with Down syndrome. Everything is so old. It's like they just want to teach them life skills, and that's it. They don't really believe in giving them a true academic education.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get through the therapy and getting them to walk and try to get them to talk, the next step is trying to even find a great school to get them in. It's already hard to find regular kids a school to get them in that's going to teach, but to find a school that's going to teach a child with Down syndrome not just life skills, but actual academics, their ABCs, their 1, 2, 3s, that really believes in that they actually can learn. And that was the hardest part.
Wow. So tell me, what is therapy like in DC? Because I know in the state of Alabama, the state provides therapy like 2 times a month. What is it like there in DC?
Here, when they're children, you have to go through your insurance. So depending on what insurance you have, there's the hang up. It's not that easy to just go out here and find therapists and find really good ones that really know what your child needs. It's also partnering with your doctors, getting you a good pediatrician, staying with that pediatrician, one that really specializes or really has a good knowledge of her condition and what's to come that can forewarn you. Partnering with them Once you get that part done, then the sky's the limit. But it's just getting over those hurdles. One, getting you a good doctor. Then
Right.
after that, getting you some referrals to get you to therapy. And then finding a great therapist. And once you get that and you stick to it and you follow the therapist's orders, then you're great.
Oh
You're
yeah.
great.
Oh yeah. Let me get my battery going here. I didn't realize my device wasn't plugged in. So like I said, the therapy here in Alabama, the state was offered that 2 times a month, where they would come out to the house and give the child physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, things like that. But one of the things that we discovered, the 2 times a month just wasn't nearly enough. So it's definitely important to get the therapy. So we had to seek out things of our own, and I think that's one thing parents need to understand for sure, is to seek out whatever we can that's going to be beneficial for our children, and give them the best chance that we can give them, the best opportunity that we can give them to be successful in life. Because one of the things that we've learned is that Down syndrome people has the ability to be successful at life just like anybody else.
Yeah.
In all of my searching and researching and whatnot, I discovered there was a young man in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I think he got married and moved off somewhere else, but he had Down syndrome as well. But he actually owned his own restaurant. So Tim. I can't remember what his last name was, but Tim was an awesome young man. I actually had a chance to talk to Tim a couple of times myself. I actually called out to the restaurant and actually speak to him. But just seeing that was motivation to me, motivation to us, should I say, that, hey, our child can be just as successful.
Yes.
Now you say the school. Tell me about school there. I know school was kind of tough.
Well, as far as school, there's really not a lot of schools here that specialize for kids with Down syndrome. Majority of them that to take kids with Down syndrome, they are only teaching them life skills. I put her in KIPP when in pre-K 3. It was a regular charter school, up and coming here at the time. Very good, very, very good. Put her in there, and I want to say for the first year and a half, it was very difficult because they couldn't deal with her. They didn't have the teachers or the skills at that time to take her attitude. They couldn't provide certain services. They came to me in pre-K 4 and was saying, hey, we really think you should put her in a public school. I had already done my research from the time she was born. I already knew there pretty much wasn't anything out here. And the process of trying to get them in special schools is you have to go through the DC public school systems. You pretty much have to let the school system pretty much fail the child, and then they will refer them out to another school. Or basically they have to go to school, and the services that the child needs can't be provided. So again, the system has to fail the child, and then they will refer them out.
Wow.
I told KIPP, hey, go with me to these schools that you're referring me to and see what they look like for yourself. And then you'll see why I can't take her out of here. You guys got to figure out something. And we did. We went to a school. They toured it. There was a child with Down syndrome in there, but the whole class was nonverbal. Amaya at the time was just becoming verbal. And I was telling them, hey, I can put her here, but she's going to regress. She's not going to progress.
Yes.
So at the end of her pre-K 4 year, right before school ended, they came to me and said, hey, we've opened up the Learning Center. And it's specializing for kids with Down syndrome and just kids with any type of disabilities that the regular school system can't handle. And from there, she's been there in the school. She went in there pretty much saying one word. Now she's speaking sentences. She's very familiar with her teachers. I can't say enough about the Learning Center and the things that they've done for her. If it wasn't for them, I don't think she would be as academically motivated as she would be if going to a public school here.
Oh wow, that's good. That's good. And that's definitely important for their intellectual ability to increase, and it can do that if they are properly taught and have the right staff to do that. So, do the public schools there do IEPs?
Yes, they do IEPs. Yes, they do. But some of them don't have the resources.
Wow. Okay. Because that's important, you know, and that's one of the things that we had to do before Miracle actually started school was to get that IEP done, you know, because, you know, if they do the IEP ahead of time, then they better have an understanding on what they need to do or what the child need and what services that the child need, rather than getting the school child in the school, then failing the child, you know, then say, okay, now we need an IEP. No, all that kind of stuff should need to be done up front. And so it's important. Again, that's important information that parents need to know.
Yeah.
Stuff that we did not know that somebody else had to teach us and to train us to do. So by the grace of God, before we put Miracle into the school, we had already been taught and prepared on things that we need to see, things that we need to do, and to make sure that the services that she needed were rendered to her. You know, so we had to do that.
Yes.
Wow. So we got a few people out here. I got some people out here watching. I hope that some of your friends are tuning in as well to check the show out tonight. But we do get an audience opportunity. I guess I should have said it earlier, but I was, you know, getting caught up in listening to the story of Maya. But we do give our audience time to ask questions, opportunity to ask questions. So if anybody got any questions that you want to ask me or our guest, we'll be glad to answer those questions for you. So just go ahead and type those questions on the screen. And we will deal with those questions as they come in. So let's talk a little bit more about Amaya as growing up. Now you got her in school and everything. What grade is she in now?
She's in the 5th now.
She's in the 5th grade now. Okay. And how well is that? How well is that going?
It's coming along. She's getting it. Considering of the certain things that 5th graders should do, that she's not really there yet. So they just put it as a proverbial 5th grade, but she's still doing like a mixture of everything from kindergarten on up. But
yes,
she's getting it.
Yes, and I'm discovering as well that the older they get, the faster they begin to learn. It's kind of a catch up thing.
Yeah.
So are you guys still doing virtual school, or are they in the classroom?
No, they're doing virtual school right now.
Yeah. So now I can only imagine she wants to run that herself, right?
She tries. Yes. It seems like she gets up to go to that more than she was getting up to get on this school bus that came to pick her up to go to school.
Yeah. I can believe that. I have that with Miracle as well. She wants to handle the Chromebook all by herself. You know, I got it. You know. Yeah. Wow. So that was your oldest child. You said that when she was born was 13, roughly. How old was your oldest child when Maya was born?
She was in her, I want to say in her late teens, almost early 20s.
Okay, yeah, because I know that Miracle's oldest sister was 20 years old when Miracle was born, and definitely was a big help in helping Miracle to develop and learn. You know, and I've also noticed that the more support that they have, the better that they learn as well.
Yeah, see here, she has such a different broad age range because her two older sisters right now are 25 and 23. Then she has a 17-year-old brother, and then she has a 11-year-old brother, and now she has a 3-year-old sister. So the age ranges are so flexible, and then when she goes to school, she has those peers. So she really has adapted very well dealing with everybody in all those age ranges.
Wow. Well, that's great. Okay. But I'm definitely again glad to have you join us. You know, it's amazing how God opened doors for people to meet. You know, though we never met in the physical, we met virtually, and just happy to be able to have you to give you an opportunity to tell your story, because again, these are the kind of stories that sometimes need to be told, because due to the fact that we don't hear this stuff enough, so we don't always have the knowledge that we have, or that we need, should I say, because so many people are unknowledgeable of the things that happen, or even of the resources that are available for people, children with Down syndrome. And so we need to do all that we can to share this kind of stuff, to make sure that people know. My wife actually wrote a book, and I think she's probably got to do a sequel to that book, because she wrote a book called The Miracles of God, A Life with Down Syndrome, that's telling the story of everything that we went through, even before Miracle was born until after she was born. So definitely, when you talk about how they drop the news on you, we can definitely identify with that, and so it can be quite devastating, and stuff like that will floor you. But the key is getting up.
Yes.
That's the key. So I don't have any questions from the audience as of yet. So I was trying to see did they have any questions that they want to ask, and they can go ahead and do that now, and we'll deal with that, because again, the rest of your family that don't live in the house with you, how did they embrace this situation?
Well, I've only have right now. It's just my aunt, and she's a little older. She was okay with it. We're really not very close. I pretty much it's just me and my kids. So it was more of them coming around, and they really just didn't care. They was like, okay, it's another sibling. That was it. So they don't treat her any differently. Like, even though she has the pacemaker, they still wrestle in here. Yeah, I can say, hey, watch out for it. They don't listen to me. She doesn't listen to you. She bulldozes her brother like it's nothing wrong with her. So
well, in her mind, it's not.
No.
And as long as she continues to feel that way, she'll always be fine. I think as parents, sometimes we're the one that see them as fragile, but they don't see themselves as fragile. They can be pretty rough now. They can be rough, and they don't believe that there's anything that they can't do. And I think that's one of Miracle's favorite scripture right now is, I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. So that's definitely her favorite scripture. Okay. All right. So I guess I don't have any questions from the audience. So I just, again, want to say that we definitely excited to have you to share your story. Look forward to talking to you sometime in the future as well, because I always believe that God allowed things to happen for a reason, because just to think about it for real, there was no way that you were supposed to see that news segment in Washington, D.C.
Not at all. Not at all. I just happened to download the app on my TV, just nosy for other places. And this Sunday, I don't know what made me turn into it, but I turned and was like, oh, let me look at this article about, because I'm always interested in school. I'm an advocate trying to figure out new ways and new techniques for school for my kids. And I happened to look at it and was like, wow. And then listening to your story and how you developed the Miracle Academy, it's like, wow, I really needed to hear that. Like, I really needed to hear that, because I've been fighting so hard. It just was like at my wit's end at that particular Sunday. I was like, man, I'm just tired. I'm just so tired. And when I seen that, it was like a light, a really big light of hope. And it just made me reach out. I was looking all over the internet trying to find it. And like, I don't know if this is them, but I'm going to pray. I'm going to send this email. And if it is, God will bless me and they'll answer it. And sure enough, I heard from you.
Wow. And I'm really grateful for that, and actually not and humbled about that as well, because God spoke to me about miracle early in life because that's one of the things when we was expecting that I was praying that she was not born with Down syndrome, and she was, and I asked God why. I did all the stuff that I was supposed to do. I prayed, I rebuked, all of that stuff. I declared and decreed, and I asked God, well, I did all this. Why was she still born with Down syndrome? And God's response was that when I don't give you what you want, or what you ask for, rather, it's because I have a better plan. And so that really opened me up for acceptance to what had transpired. And so we took Miracle to a place here called Hand in Hand. And when she was about, I think about 13 months old, 15 months old, somewhere thereabout. And she started there as a part-time student and ended up being full-time. She, learned to walk there with a walker because we had already started potty training her. So the next class that she was going to was not being potty trained, but they wasn't walking. So they allowed her to bypass that class because she was being potty trained. But then, but there are no crawlers in this class, so they gave her a walker. So that's how she started walking. So after a couple of weeks, she was maneuvering that thing like it was nothing, and didn't realize she was walking sometimes. She pick it up and carry it, but there the atmosphere was so good for her and for learning and growing, because the children there were not all special need children. It was like a daycare for everybody, so it definitely was a blessing to us to be able to put her there. But one day when I was leaving there, God spoke to me and told me about starting a Miracle Mother Downs Foundation. And when we started Miracle Mother Down Foundation, it was mainly to educate people, to educate parents, and to educate siblings on how to deal with this child with Down syndrome. So we did all the work to get our 501c3 and all those things to do that, and got that foundation started. But at that time, we never would have thought we'd be where we are now, starting a school to educate, children. So the school is kind of based on the way that Hand in Hand was. That is for everybody. It's not just for special needs children, but it is for special needs children as well. So we embrace all of that, and now that we've had the experience, then we know how to deal with that. We wish Amaya was closer to us. that we can have her at Miracle Academy. It would be absolutely awesome. I got one of my guests did said, "Thank you, Miss Smallwood, for sharing your story." So there's so much going on in the world now that people need to hear something good.
Yes.
And that's again, that's why we want to do this, because there is in your story, there is a message of hope. And I really was paying attention when you said that on that Sunday morning when you saw this story, you needed that.
Yes.
So again, there's that message of hope, because people need to know that no matter where we are, no matter what we're feeling, no matter what we're going through, God knows just where we are, and He knows just what to send in the time that we need it to pull us from that place.
You were right. You were definitely right.
When the doctors broke the news to my wife that Miracle was Down syndrome, and he did not do it in a really good way. He did not have a very good bedside manner, and so God knew not to let me even be there when that happened. And I come back in the hospital room and find my wife laid out on the floor, speechless, not saying a word, and I had no idea what was going on, And the only thing that made her snap out of that, I'm telling you, that when I say God knows where you are, that one of our church members called the kids and asked me and told her to have me to call her, because she had gotten a call from someone else an hour drive away, said that they heard that my wife had died.
Ooh.
Yes, and so she was in shock and parked her car on the side of the freeway and said she was going to sit there until she heard from me or my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And when I called her, but what she saw was spiritual. What she saw was emotional, because that was an emotional death that my wife was experiencing at that time. And but God knew that, so He had somebody to call to pull her out of that. So He knows where we are, and He knows what we're going through, and that's why, again, we are so humbled of the fact that you was able to catch that story that Sunday morning, because we had no idea, but God knows all, and I'm just grateful, and we that's why we look forward to staying in touch, staying in contact with you guys. We want to watch Amaya grow up, and we want to be there to see her graduate high school and all these good things,
Definitely would look forward to that. Definitely look forward to
that. Yes. Well, Ms. Smallwood, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight and sharing your story with us, the story of the great Amaya and all that she's accomplishing in life and all that she's going to accomplish in life. So tell Amaya we said hello, we love her, and we appreciate you guys. And know that even though you are in DC and we are in Alabama, feel free to pick the phone up and call us anytime. Because
I definitely will. And I want to say thank you guys. I definitely want to say thank your wife for last night's Bible study. Oh my goodness! Again, one of those nights, head in the cloud, having to just click on, and she did touch. She was touching last night. Definitely, so I definitely appreciate everything.
And I appreciate her so much and all that she do, because she's a great, I wouldn't even say an asset. She's the other part of me that make things happen. And I'm just grateful, because since March, I've been doing the Bible studies and stuff. Since the pandemic, I've been doing all that stuff myself. But this week I had oral surgery, and so she took over because she normally has a problem sitting behind the computer. She likes to walk with the microphone, and but she did do Bible study for me last night, because I decided to let my mouth rest this week due to the oral surgery. And so this is the first time that I've been on live. I went on live Monday at noon, but then I did the oral surgery Monday afternoon. So this is the first time I've been on, but I definitely appreciate her and all that she do to make things continue to roll. And I know the anointing that is on her life. And I know that's why, without a doubt, that's why you, as many others, are so drawn to her, because God has put an anointing on her to be there for other people who are struggling with situations, who are in pain, or whatever the case is. And the thing that blows my mind is she has the ability, God has given her the ability to feel the pain.
Yeah.
One of the things in the world that she and I live in, sometimes people say you don't know how a person feel if you haven't been through what they've been through. And I've learned to disagree with that, because the things that people have been through, she feel their pain and she have not been through it, but it's because God has put that in her and given her that spirit to feel the pain. I literally saw her go through something once, and when God really was birthing this ministry in her to do that, I saw her go through that, and it was like she was going through birthing pains, with that, because she was feeling and she was seeing everything that people around her was going through, and so yes, she has that anointing that she can speak to a crowd of people and just touch. And I just definitely thank God for that. Well, God bless you again, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're gonna get ready to get out of here, and Tell Amaya that we love her, and you guys have a good night, and we'll be talking to you real soon.
All right. Love you guys too. Thank you so much.
All right. You take care now.
All right.
All right. Hey guys, thank y'all again for joining us tonight. Again, I pray that you would share this video with your friends and neighbors. And it's still not too late to do a watch party. Even if you're watching later, you still can do a watch party and tag your friends and neighbors in this also. Let them get a clear view of the story of Amaya and Miss Smallwood. I'm about to say Underwood, Miss Smallwood, all the way in Washington, D.C., that were able to be with us tonight on our show, Greg Talk. God bless you, and may God keep you is our prayer. This has been another edition of Greg Talks.
The best when you listen to get the whole truth. The best when you listen to get a fair view. The best when you listen to get the whole truth. The best when you listen to get a fair view. This is Greg Talk. This is Greg Talk. This is Greg Talk. This is Greg Talk.
Good evening, everybody. God bless you. We love you. Peace out.